Page 134. Hariu l'Adonai kol haaretz, bitzchu v'ranenu v'zameru. Raise a shout to God. Break into joyous songs of praise.
L'Adonai kol haaretz, l'Adonai kol haaretz, l'Adonai kol haaretz. Ranenu v'zameru, ranenu v'zameru, ranenu v'zameru. בכל זמרה L'Adonai kol haaretz, l'Adonai kol haaretz, l'Adonai kol haaretz. Ranenu v'zameru, ranenu v'zameru, ranenu v'zameru. L'Adonai bechino. בחינות בכל זמרה, זמרו לאדוני בחינות בכל זמרה.
Page 137 at the bottom of the page. Adonai oz la'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. The blessing that we all wish for. May God grant our people the gift of peace.
Adonai Adonai
Vashalom. Vashalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I hope you got a good groove going on, a nice sort of mellow and joyful feeling happening. We're going to ride that for the first half of the service, and then we're going to switch tones a bit. But before we move on, I'm going to ask you, which I've been doing while you're away, is to get up, go introduce yourself to someone you don't know, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, and come back in 2 minutes. Those of you online, just wish yourself a Shabbat Shalom, take a deep breath, relax, enjoy.
Send an SMS to someone you haven't said Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, very nice, very nice. All right, I'm going to go Shabbos over.
אדוני לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה
So I'd like to invite Gabby with her whole family to come forward to light Shabbat candles. Come on down, Gabby. We are on page 119, 118.
It's 118. How convenient.
Yes, 118. Here, come round this side, Gabby. Round this side. And to begin with, we do light a memorial candle in recognition of all of those who are unable to join us this Shabbat here in the sanctuary. And Gabby, where are you? Here you are. You'll need to hold this. And could you please read for us at the top of this page? Here.
All these candles give light to all who behold them. So may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Would you like to light the candles for us, please? Thank you. And bring in Shabbat. And the bracha.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Amen. And we wish you Mazel Tov because your bat mitzvah is tomorrow morning. You looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Yes? Definitely, positively, absolutely, surely. Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov, and please be seated. You will find us on page 140 for Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עצור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינון. ישמחתני אדוני בבואך, במעשה ידיך רנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, ועוד עמקו מחשבותיך. איש בער לא ידע, וכסיל לא יבין את זאת. צדיק התמר יפרח, ארז בלבנון ישגה. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינבון וזבח, דשנים ורעננים יהיו. להגיד כי ישר אדוני, זכורי ולא עוולתה בו.
Page 142, we are blessed with these angels who bless our week. May the week be as blessed as this Shabbat. And as we've prepared Shabbat, so too may this week be filled with blessing, with joy, and with peace. Page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei
Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch.
Roachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom,
Barbuni לשלום, מלכי השלום. השלום, מלכי עליון, מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We rise on page 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish and the call to prayer.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
בהמה תברא רותה, וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל.
בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן גריב.
ואמרו,
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה
בריחו
לעם ינקור בחטא ושירתה
קדוש בחטא ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה.
ואמרו
אמן.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. We continue on page 148, reading together. Baruch ata Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhma poteach sha'arim, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשפרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
אהבת עולם
אהבת עולם
את ישראל
עמך אהבת,
עמך
אהבת.
תורה ומצוות
תורה ומצוות
ומשפטים אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת.
על כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו וקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד.
כי הם חיינו
הם חיינו
לאורך ימינו ובהם נגד יומם בלילה, נגד יומם בלילה. באהבתך אל תסיר
אהבתך
לעולמים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל.
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו,
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך, בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת אליהם, ועשו להם ציצית הכנפי בגדיהם לדורתם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בתלתחת. והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבביכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריכם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God miracles and earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
On page 158, our words and song of redemption.
מי כמוך בעינים אדוני, מי כמוך נעזר בקודש, נורתי לו עוז פלא, נורתי לו עוז פלא.
מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים, זהרי אנו ועמנו, אדוני לו לעמה.
יבם בים ביריבם, יבם במים בם, יבם בים ביריבם, יבם במים בם. איי 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 אדוני במים בם, איי 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 יבם במים בם.
ונאמר כבד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני
שמו.
קהל ישראל.
Amen.
Page 160. השכיבנו, השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לשלום, לשלום.
השכיבנו, השכיבנו, אדוני אלוהינו לשלום.
וענינו מלכנו לחיים ולשלום. Ashkivenu Eloheinu leshalom ufros aleinu znuga shlomecha Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal One, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts, eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Ashkivenu, Ashkivenu, Eloheinu leshalom. Baruch ata Adonai, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. Blessed are you, Eternal One, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. On page 164, we stand for the Amidah, or the Tefillah, the central core of our service. As is our tradition, we'll chant the first three benedictions as a community and then continue in silence, whether using the words of our prayer books or the words of our hearts.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehiratecha Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora Egion Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imaot U'Mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Oseh U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch ata Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'Ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Meitim Ata Rav Ve'Hoshia Mashiv Haruach Morit HaGeshem Masayach HaShemesh Morit HaTal Mechakeh Chaim Bechesed Mechayim Meitim Berachamim Rabim סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים באמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בגבורות ומטוב מלך מלך במיתוך חיה ומשמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
והגיון ליבי.
לפניך.
אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי.
On page 521. We begin with silence. The silence of death, the silence after destruction. There are times when songs falter, when darkness fills life, when martyrdom becomes a constellation of faith against the unrevealed black of space about us. There are no words to reach beyond the edge of night, no messenger to tell the full tale. There is only silence. The silence of Job, the silence of the 6 million, the silence of memory. Let us remember them as we link our silences. This Sunday night and Monday is our Jewish community's commemoration of Yom HaShoah. It's a time when we remember the unthinkable. So interestingly enough, I received an email today or yesterday, we did, about, you sent it actually, about someone who, a Christian man who runs an organization called Never Again Is Now. And they did an amazing solidarity gathering in Sydney, and they're coming to Melbourne and doing something here on the 16th of May. 19th of May, sorry, Sunday the 19th of May. I hope we can all be there and support. But again, as it talks about here in this prayer, this Yom HaShoah service that was written however many years ago, linking our silences with theirs, I'm thinking it's been a long time since we've linked our time with theirs. But today we recall the 6 million, 12 million who perished during the Shoah. Yesterday, I went with you too, Edison. We went to, and Ashley, Melbourne University. They were having I forget, it was students cry out against hate. I don't know if anyone else was there. It was a nice gathering. And there were a number of speakers. And one of the speakers was a student, a freshman student who is a psychology student. And she told the story about her second week in her criminology class when her lecturer was referring to, I think it was called the Death Inn or something along those lines, where people were protesting what they called the so-called genocide in Gaza, the die-in. It was the die-in, thank you. And the lecturer was saying how, I'm sorry I can't go. I support all of you who are going, and and that's, it's a terrible thing, the genocide that Israel is perpetuating or something along those lines, that was said in the context of a lecture at Melbourne University. And the student was shared that she wrote to the unit coordinator and explained her distress about that message being perpetuated and shared in the class. And she said, I'm a grandchild of a survivor. And when you use the word genocide, it has a very, very different meaning for me, a very personal meaning for me. And she said, I took a gap year last year, and I was actually in Israel on the 7th of October. And I spent 3 days in a shelter. And, and when you talk about a die-in, and you ignore the fact that, the thousands of people that died in Israel, I have a problem with that, and it doesn't make me feel safe in your class. She said that it took over 48 hours before she got a response to her email. And the person, and she read the response, I won't go through it, it's so distressing. But the response essentially was saying that, well, this is a criminology class. We're going to be talking about things that are controversial in the class. And, maybe if you can't handle that, you need to maybe reconsider or something along those lines. Very comforting, very supportive. Nothing about the acknowledgement of what she underwent when she was in Israel. Nothing about the fact that she is a grandchild of a survivor. None of that. Just completely ignored. And her message to the crowd that day was really quite powerful, actually similar to the message of the, terrible, some member, TBI member who spoke here at the fourth of our series, who,
Nick Dyrenfeld.
Nick Dyrenfeld, yeah, about the isolation of the Jews on the left. And her message was very similar to Nick's, which was very much about don't back away, use your voice. Don't be afraid to use your voice and stand up, stay there, stay in the class, stay at the university, stay in the party if that's where you want to be, stay there and give our voices. And it's hard and it's scary, but if enough of us do, then hopefully we can make a difference. And as I read this reading here, as we about to commemorate Yom HaShoah, and I think about linking our silence to theirs, I'm also thinking about the message of speaking out when no one spoke out for us or when no one listened to us. And in a minute, I'm going to read something to you that I was actually debating whether or not it was still applicable in today's world or not. But we can have a little discussion maybe at Kiddush to see if you think so. I actually wanted to share, before we go to the next part of the service, I wanted to share with you some words from Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks. He was in an interview, and they asked him a few questions, and I just want to share a few excerpts from you because I think it's really poignant at this time. He asked the question, the interviewer asked the question, why did God allow the Holocaust to occur? Rabbi Sacks's answer said, the first time I went to Auschwitz, I was simply overwhelmed. I asked, God, where were you? And the words came into my mind. I was in the words, you shall not murder. I was in the words, you shall not oppress a stranger. I was in the words that were said to Cain when he killed Abel, the first murder in the Tanakh. Your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. When God speaks and human beings refuse to listen, even God is helpless in that situation. He knew that Cain was about to kill Abel, but God didn't stop him. God knew that Pharaoh was about to kill the Israelite children, but God didn't stop it. God gives us freedom and never takes it back, but God tells us how to use that freedom. And when human beings refuse to listen, even God is powerless. The second question he was asked, do you have faith in humanity after the Holocaust? Rabbi Sacks's answer, the Holocaust represented perhaps the greatest failure humanity has ever known. It featured the combination of technical brilliance and bureaucratic efficiency, but dedicated to the most of evil of all purposes. This really is the greatest failure of humanity that I can think of. But there's this very remarkable avenue called the Avenue of Righteous Gentiles in Yad Vashem in Jerusalem. 14,000 people are honored there, people whom many of us would trust because they put their own lives at risk to save the lives of their neighbors and, in some cases, of strangers. These were beacons of light in the midst of one of the worst darknesses humanity has ever known. And therefore, yes, we can trust humanity if humanity shows itself capable of acting for the sake of others and taking risks to save others from death. As I read Rabbi Sachs's answer, I thought of Heath, what's his first name? Mark Heath. Mark Heath, yeah? Mark Heath, who runs the Never Again Is Now. Again, Mark Leach, who is running the Never Again Is Now. He's a righteous Gentile, right? He's saying, hey, you know what? This happened a long time ago. It's happening again. These are the signs. This is how it's all started. Let's pay attention. Let's not let this be their fight, but let this be our fight. Let this be our reality that we're fighting from. The others, the humanity, seeing the humanity in all people, that's what gives us hope. And so the last question, considering the devastation of the Holocaust, how can we still feel hope in the Jewish future? Rabbi Sachs's answer, in the most uncanny evocation of the Holocaust, Ezekiel the prophet, 26 centuries ago, saw the Jewish people as the valley of dry bones. And God said to Ezekiel, the people say our hope is lost, but it is not lost because I am going to take them out of their graves and bring them to the land of Israel. Rabbi Sachs said, I see 3 signs of hope today, and they're remarkable. Today, we have Israel, we have Judaism, and we have the Jewish people, all 3 of them stronger than they ever were before. And I don't need any more grounds for hope than that. Our hope is not destroyed. So I almost didn't read that. Because I'm like, is this really right now, looking at Israel, is that our sense of hope? I'm feeling a bit shaky on that one. And yet, I also listened to a number of people saying, what's different now based on when we had the Shoah, when everything was happening in the 30s? Israel didn't exist. Right now, there actually is a place to exist. And I don't know about you, but I know so many Israelis and people who are visiting in Israel. We've got our UPJ mission there right now that have said to me, I actually feel safer in Israel than I do here in Australia. Because they said, in Israel, we know who our enemies are. Here we don't know. And again, sorry, it's a bit dire today. But one of the things is that, the fact that we do have Israel, even with all of its soreness that it has, it still gives us a sense of strength. It's both an Achilles heel, is anti-Zionism a form of anti-Semitism? Well, I wrote a big article, but I used to not think so, but now I very much do. Is it something that strengthens us or brings it down? I don't know that you can see one without the other. You can't have Israel without the Jewish people, and you can't have the Jewish people without Israel. It doesn't matter what we think it is. You can't have a body without a soul or a soul without a body. They're interconnected whether we like it or not. And so in that respect, to me, the hope is finding that connection between body and soul, between Jewish people and Israel, between humanity and Jewish people, that they're not separate but one. Right? To me, that's where hope lies, and that's where we need to move together. And so what I'd like to do now, in honor of the 6 million, we're going to call up 6 people who don't know who they're going to be called up, because our cantor is going to call them up right now. And each person, as they get called up, we're going to do a little, very, very short reading, and we're going to ask everyone to light the candles. And as we do so, I'm going to ask everyone to please rise.
Evie Bock, would you come up as a representative of our first candle? This first candle represents 1 million children. Can you light this candle?
We light this first candle to remember the 1 million children who died, children who may not have even understood what was going on, who never experienced so many things in life, who knew not romantic love, who knew not hate, who knew only the love of a parent and the potential for good. The second candle.
Charlie and Nadia.
We light this second candle in memory of those who were slaughtered because they believed in a different ideology. They may have been socialist or gypsies. They believed in something different. They were not the sheep. The third candle.
Brenda.
We light this third candle in honor of those who could not deny their identity as gays or lesbians, or because they were male or female, or genders at the time not yet defined. They were punished because of who they chose to love and how they felt beneath their skin and in their hearts. Our fourth candle.
Sue.
We light this fourth candle in memory of those who have no one to remember. We remember them tonight. Their voices are not silenced. Their memories are not snuffed out. As we live and breathe, so do they in our hearts, in our minds, and in our actions. The fifth candle.
Diane, would you come forward?
The fifth candle we light in memory of the martyrs, those who stood up and spoke out and spoke up, those who tried to and at times succeeded in fighting against the Nazi murderers. Whether they fought physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, they did not surrender their faith, their values, or their experiences. We remember, too, the righteous Gentiles who put their own lives at risk for another human beings. This is the essence of humanity. The sixth candle.
Ash. I also especially want to recognize not only the university students, but even harder, the high school students who are required by law to attend classes in which hate speech is being perpetrated.
This sixth candle we light to remember all 6 million who were not singled out because they were secular or religious. They may have been a quarter Jewish, or half Jewish, or fully Jewish, or married to a Jew. Simply, they were Jewish or stood by the Jewish community. And I'm just doing this out of order. I'm going to call up all of the children who are under the age of bar or bat mitzvah. All of you, come on up. And you guys are going to all come. One of you guys are going to have to, there you go. So you have one more, like less than 24 hours to come and do this. All right. Can we show you how? We're just going to get you to be the seventh candle. Go like this. You're going to be a candle. Excellent. And so tonight, we light a seventh candle, a candle of hope. As we continue to feel the weight of the missing hostages, the ongoing rockets, and the pain and suffering of innocent lives in Israel and in Gaza. As we continue to struggle with the pandemic of increased anti-Semitism, most recently exploding on university campuses, we recognize that there is still suffering in the world. And this flame, as it flickers with different colors and different sizes and different shapes and different children, this flame represents the essence of hope. The hope that allowed the Jewish spirit to prevail during the Shoah, the hope that allowed the Jewish spirit to prevail throughout history. We remember the past and acknowledge the present. We also look towards the future and towards the light, and we find the hope. Thank you for doing what I've asked. And you guys, looking at you and your beautiful smiling faces, or some, there you go, thanks, you smiled on cue. You got a bar mitzvah tomorrow. Come on, one more smile. There we go. Thank you. Your beautiful smiling faces remind us that you are a future that we can't afford to give up, because that's not fair to you. And you guys have to remind us, even when we're feeling heavy, that, you know, there's laughter and fun and silliness and annoyances that are you and that are part of being a child and a part of growing up. You guys represent our hope and why we do it. And we remind ourselves that despite what Hitler did, right, we're still here and we're still growing. And you, whose one's about to come, we're still coming, right? It's an amazing thing. So thank you guys very much. You can go sit down. So we remain standing as we turn to page 530 for El Malei Rachamim.
אל מלא רחמים שוכן במרומים, אמצעי מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמות 6 מיליון אחינו ואחיותינו שנהרגו על קידוש השם. בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתם. אדוני הוא נחלתם, וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן.
Please be seated. It once happened. On the 11th of August, 1917, the world's oldest living man passed away, just a month short of his 114th birthday. I'm reading someone else's words, but I can't remember the website, but it's interesting to hear. Making him one of the 10 longest lived men since modern record keeping began. If you knew nothing else about him than this, you would be justified in thinking that he had led a peaceful life, spared of fear, grief, and danger. The actual truth is the opposite. The man in question was Israel Kristall, a Holocaust survivor. Born in Poland in 1903, he survived 4 years in the Lodz ghetto and was then transported to Auschwitz. In the ghetto, his 2 children died. In Auschwitz, his wife, Chaya, was killed. When Auschwitz was liberated, he was a walking skeleton, weighing a mere 37 kilos. He was the only member of his family to survive. He was raised as a religious Jew and stayed so all of his life. When the war was over and his entire world was destroyed, he married again, this time to another Holocaust survivor, Batsheva. They had children. They made Aliyah to Haifa. There he began again in the confectionery business as he had done in Poland before the war. He made sweets and chocolates. He became an innovator. If you ever had an Israeli orange peel covered in chocolate or liqueur chocolates shaped like little bottles and covered with silver foil, you are enjoying one of the products he originated. Those who knew him said he was a man with no bitterness in his soul. He wanted people to taste sweetness. In 2016, at the age of 113, he finally celebrated his bar mitzvah. 100 years earlier, this had proved impossible. By then, his mother was dead and his father was fighting in the First World War. On his bar mitzvah, he joked that he was the world's oldest tefillin wearer. He gathered his children, grandchildren, and his great-grandchildren under his talit, and he said, "Here's one person, and look how many people he brought to life." As we're all standing, we're not all standing here under my talit. Whoever wrote this said that. As we're all standing here under my talit, I'm thinking 6 million people. Imagine the world they could have built. Rabbi Morgan and Sue, would you mind come coming up and leading us in the Kaddish L'Yom HaShoah, and we rise again and turn to page 533. 533.
This version of the Kaddish Atom was composed by Elie Wiesel together with Rabbi Albert Friedlander as part of the liturgy that they created many years ago for Yom HaShoah. Yitgadal
Auschwitz,
v'yitkadash
Lodz,
Shemei Rabba
Hana,
ba'alma divrach te
Babiyah,
v'yamlich malchute
Majdanek,
v'chayechon v'yomechon
Birkenau,
uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael
Kovno,
ba'agala uv'zman kariv
Janowska,
ve'imru
Amen.
יהי שם רבם מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה.
יתברך וישתבח
Theresienstadt,
ויתפעל ויתרומם
Buchenwald,
ויתנשא ויתהדר
Treblinka,
ויתעלה ויתהלל
Vilna,
שמי דקודשה בריחו
Bergen-Belsen,
לעילה
Mauthausen,
לנקול ברכתה ושירתה
Dachau,
תשבחתה ונחמתה
Minsk,
לאמירן בעלמה
Warsaw,
ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום בברמה,
במרומיו
הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו
Amen. Thank you. We remain standing for the Aleinu on page 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת סוזו בגובי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We remain standing for a few more moments as we think of the cost of war in Israel, and we never forget. We think of Shir Yaron, 21 from Tzohar, who was murdered by Hamas on October 7th while trying to flee the Supernova Music Festival. The 5 of them made it to Miftachim Junction near their homes, where they were all shot. A day later, their bodies were all discovered lying in the road, riddled with bullets. We think also of Ilan Locke, who will be laid to rest this week. And in the period of Shloshim, William Chanin, Phyllis Krokauer, Sophia Donenfeld, Naomi Friedman, Alice Kahn, Leila Rowland, Anna Strzelecki, George Tsego. And the yahrzeits which fall on this day: Morris Ackerman, or this week, Rachel Aber, Sarah Bando, Gilbert Biondi, Colin Blaschke, Henry Sidor, Ronald Condi, Harold Davis, Bunty Davis, Louis Eisfelder, Lea Fradkin, Berta Frey, Chaim Frey, Daniel Frey, Basia Gatovsky, Basia Grabman, Albert Grossbard, Max Hurwitz, Valerie Jacobson, Avner Kanatopsky, Ruth King Smith, Leslie Coadlo, Abraham Margulies, Frida Margulies, Ruth Moat, Paul Naylor, Greta Pierce, Joseph Raymond, Shmuel Ribolov, Fanny Schiff, Hans Spitz, Miriam Sword, Felix Spiegelstein, Jacob Spiegelstein, Julia Spiegelstein, and Civic Spiegelstein, Julius Turin, Jacob Weissman, and Willie Wolf.
Can I ask, is there anyone here who is a child, a grandchild, or a great-grandchild of a survivor?
Yeah.
Can you say their names out loud for us? Mira and Carlos Saturocli. Ricardo Saturocli. Say that again. Ludwig and Claire. Jonas. Thank you. First name, what was the first one? Basha and Mark Lewin. Thank you. Say it again. Tivak and Marika Marcus. Thank you. Andrew Rostov. Thank you. Raja Opat. Thank you. Frederick Rose. Peter Colliner. And for all of those who have no one left to say Kaddish for them, and for all of those who are suffering in the world. Zichronam Levracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Kaddish Shotom, the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598, 598.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ועל מה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מנכ"ל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel and to all of humanity. And we say amen. So we're going to pass out a glass of wine or grape juice. If you choose the white, it is grape juice. If you choose the red, it is wine. And I'll invite everyone to join us in the words of Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קידשנו במזוודה ורצה בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
And the grape juice and the wine reminds us that even in the Shoah, even in difficult times, Shabbat was still celebrated, babies were still born, marriages, love still happened, life moved on. We're celebrating Gabby's bat mitzvah tomorrow, which is going to be so exciting and wonderful, reminding us that no matter what, we always have something to celebrate, and that's hope for you.
So Gabby, come down and join us as we say Motzi. Where are you, Gabby? Come on down.
Come on
One more time. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Amen. Pull, 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 pull. That's it? That's all you want? And so we conclude with the words of Eli, Eli. As we think of Yom HaShoah, we recognize this and we remember. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, achol ve'ayam, risrush shel hamayim, ve'rak hashamayim, tfilat adam, achol ve'ayam, risrush shel hamayim, ve'rak hashamayim, tfilat
announcements. First of all, tomorrow morning, yay, Colin or Bat Mitzvah, exciting. Go forth and celebrate. You're going to be awesome. We're looking forward to that. Sunday night at, I think, 7 p.m. at Blackwood Hall. Robert Blackwood Hall at Monash Clayton is the communal Yom HaShoah commemoration. Notoriously, we do not have a really good progressive Jewish presence there. It would be really great to have a progressive Jewish presence and more, and this is one thing, we all come together. You know, Hitler didn't discriminate, nor should we. We should go and be together as community if we can. Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut is coming up with a bunch of upcoming things. And next Friday night from 4:15 to 5 is a family Shabbat. I see lots of kids here. If you want to come for that and get home in time for a decent dinner, then please do come and bring a friend. Other than that, Shabbat Shalom.